Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode 2 of the deep dive of the Havamal on Stoic Lokean. If you haven't already done so, please leave a like, subscribe, comment, review, leave an honest and an open review. All of that goes a long way to spreading the word, I guess, if you like. So today's episode, like I said, we'll read stanza 2 from Benjamin Thorpe's translation in the Pocket Havamal, which you can find on Amazon. I'll also post a link in the descriptions as well, so you can find it for yourself. A few quid on Amazon, nice and handy. Literally stick it in your pocket, carry it around and read it with you whenever you need to. So I'll just dive straight in, if I may, just as the rain is starting, so a nice little rainy backdrop to the podcast today. So stanza 2. Give us, hail, a guest is coming, where shall he sit? In much haste is he, who on the ways has to try his luck. So interpreting this stanza, perhaps in the context of Old Norse wisdom and heathenry in general, stanza 2 speaks to the concept of hospitality and the importance of welcoming guests. For any of you who are heathen or have heathen friends, you will absolutely be familiar with the hospitality within the heathen community. You go to any heathen gathering and it's an absolute essential vein that runs through every gathering that you will ever stumble across. Heathens are some of the most hospitable people you will ever meet in your life, and that continues and continues. So this is a beautiful stanza to be analysing today. It also as well speaks to the fact that in the often harsh and isolated environments of ancient Scandinavia, showing kindness to travellers and guests was both a moral duty and a means of establishing alliances. The stanza underscores the significance of receiving visitors with warmth and respect. And that question of where shall he sit hints at the honour and consideration given to guests. It's not just a case of Dave's come in, sit him in the corner, leave him there on his own. It's very much a case of making sure your guests are comfortable, making sure they're warm, making sure they're dry if they've come in from the rain, making sure they're fed, they're watered. And in many of the stanzas throughout the Havamal, that's a very common thread, a very common theme, is making sure your guests are well looked after and feel like part of the home, or feel welcome around the hearth, if you like. Furthermore, the stanza also suggests as well that travellers are often in a hurry. Maybe not so much today, but that was definitely the case once upon a time. But you will still have friends visiting who aren't staying for long. They might be popping in on the way out somewhere, or whatever. There's that unpredictability of the journeys and challenges that people face. So it's up to you to give them a spot of comfort, give them a little respite on that journey that they're on, whether that be an actual physical journey or a metaphorical one whereby they just need a bit of time to recuperate, to rest, relax. It's your duty, if you like, to give them that opportunity. From a Stoic perspective, stanza 2 resonates with the principles of kindness, open-mindedness, the readiness to adapt. Stoicism encourages us to be virtuous and hospitable, embodying qualities like generosity and compassion. Just as the stanza acknowledges the swift pace of travellers, Stoicism teaches us to be flexible and accommodating to the changing circumstances of life. Welcoming guests, for example, symbolises the Stoic virtue of social responsibility, of community building. One of the reasons I started this podcast, or the main reason I started this podcast, is for the building of community. It's to give something back to the heathen community that has been so good to me over the years. And it's also a reminder that we're all interconnected. In heathenry, we have the web of weird. One decision impacts the decision of many others. So that interconnectedness is very important, both in heathenry and in Stoicism as well. A quote that comes to mind, and I'm just going to read this as I've written it down. Practice yourself for heaven's sake in little things, and thence proceed to greater. That's a quote from Epictetus, again, one of the founding fathers, if you like, of Stoicism. And this quote emphasizes the Stoic principle of practicing virtue in everyday situations. And just as the Old Norse stanza focuses on the act of welcoming a guest, Epictetus is encouraging us to begin with small acts of kindness and generosity. This goes back to and aligns to the acts and the idea of kindness and generosity and cultivating virtuous qualities through practical actions, which is a core aspect of Stoic philosophy. Both perspectives remind us that meaningful change, genuine change, often starts with seemingly minor actions. Again, that idea of interconnectedness, the web of weird, that one person's actions affect another, all connected, and ultimately shapes our character and our interactions with others. Be a nice person, generally. Or, I was talking to somebody the other day and he was saying how he went to a hand fasting. He's not heathen himself, but his friends are. He went to their hand fasting and he loved it. And the sort of the general concept that even he picked up on actually was, don't be a dick. And I think as long as you go with an open mind and without that I'm just going to be a dick attitude, you're all good. Everyone will get on. Stanza 2 also encourages us to be hospitable, not only in our homes, but also in our attitudes. So it goes further than just welcoming a guest. You might be at work, for example, and you've got a new starter. So welcome that new starter. Welcome newcomers to the faith, and create inclusive spaces. Promote understanding and connection in an increasingly diverse world. And that's the beautiful thing about UK heathenry in particular. And I say UK heathenry because it's only really the heathenry that I've experienced. There isn't a single kindred I've come across in the UK that would dismiss you, that would say you're not welcome here. The only way you would be unwelcome is if you bring some of those unfortunate far-right ideologies with you. Leave those at the door, or just don't be that kind of person at all, and every single kindred in the UK will welcome you with open arms. And that even goes up to House of True UK, who not oversee it, but are a central location for heathens, for to all to come together. It also teaches kindness in action as well. Practicing kindness towards strangers can have a profound impact. Simple acts of hospitality, whether it's offering a seat on public transport or providing assistance, really do reflect the essence of this stanza. And again, can make a massive difference to someone's day. You just never quite know what kind of day someone's having, and by you offering that little bit of kindness can really genuinely change their life for the better. It also reminds us to be adaptable. Just as travellers are often in haste, Well, life's circumstances can change rapidly. Being prepared to adapt and show grace in unexpected situations aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on our reactions rather than external events. Focus on what you can control as opposed to what you can't control. The interconnectedness of the stanza, I mean, I've mentioned this definitely several times. I would probably say it's the strongest theme that runs through it. Both the Old Norse and Stoic perspectives emphasize the interconnectedness of humanity. The stanza encourages us to remember that we all embark on journeys and our paths may intersect with others. Remember that. Keep that at your core principles at all times, that we are all interconnected. Cultivate virtue. Embrace the qualities of kindness, generosity and readiness. This aligns with Stoic ideals and of cultivating virtue and aligning our actions with our higher selves. All of that come together. In essence, though, this stanza imparts the wisdom of creating a welcoming, compassionate and adaptable approach to life in general, not just welcoming guests into your own home. A perspective that bridges cultural wisdom and philosophical principles, offering a guide to living harmoniously in a complex world. It's a beautiful stanza when you actually read into it. So to finish off, as I did with episode 1, I'm going to read stanza 2 to you again before I sign off. So stanza 2 from the Havamal, the words of the High One, the wisdom of Odin. Give us hail, a guest is coming. Where shall he sit? In much haste is he who on the ways has to try his luck. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for taking on my ramblings. Please subscribe, like, comment. There's a little poll at the end of each of my podcasts just asking you generally what you think. Please fill that in and please be honest, because any feedback is welcome. And I want this podcast to adapt and evolve over time, as it will. There are a lot of stanzas to go through in the Havamal. So this is an ever-changing, ever-evolving process. So please do leave me some feedback, because it helps tremendously in shaping what you want to see and hear. Is it worth sharing these videos to YouTube as well, for example? I think I probably will, because initially, if you listen to podcast 1, you probably grasped that there was an element of it was going to be uploaded to YouTube. So any feedback is always more than welcome. Hail to you. Thank you very much for listening, watching. I will see you on the next one. Thank you.